Tuungane sote na tushereke pamoja ushindi kwa ukombozi wetu. Tujitoe wenyewe, tusimame pamoja kulinda uhuru na umoja wetu. Enyi Bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima. Tuungane sote tuimbe pamoja, kuenzi shikamano hatima yetu. Tujitoe wenyewe kupambana pamoja, uhuru na umoja vitawale. Enyi Bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima. Tuungane sote na tujibidishe kutoa kilicho bora kwa Afrika, chimbuko la wanadamu, chemchemi ya utamaduni, tumaini letu wakati wa mafarakano. Enyi Bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima.
Welcome to the Gang Show. Welcome to Humanist TV Africa. We want to encourage you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. The link is right there. It is Humanist TV Africa. It's our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to be able to see this and more of our shows. We also want to encourage you to send us an email. The email can be sent to info@humanisttv.com. info@humanisttvafrica.com, and our WhatsApp number is right there. Send us a message, and of course, our communication officer will be able to respond to your query. Today, we are discussing Nigeria and Sierra Leone, and this is episode 2. If you watched episode 1, you know where we stopped. We are going to continue right from there. As a recap, we talked about Sierra Leone in episode 1. We said that Sierra Leone has about 8 million people, but half of these people are basically unemployed and below the poverty line. In fact, more than half of the people in Sierra Leone are below the poverty line, despite Sierra Leone having so many wealth resources, mineral resources that could make any country better off because they could have a trade-off. They could have something to share with the rest of the world. But Sierra Leone remains a highly corrupt country. Remember, we said that Sierra Leone is ranked by World Global Economics and, of course, by a Global Index on Corruption as number 3 most corrupt country. It's very, very disappointing that the government is corrupt, from the president to the politicians to the individuals managing institutions. Almost everything is dead in Sierra Leone. So that is it. Despite having the best soils, minerals such as gold, diamonds, and all that, Sierra Leone is not a country that one should be very, very much proud about. Now, number 2, we talked about Nigeria, and we said Nigeria is a giant. People used to call it a gateway to Africa or a giant of Africa, whatever it was. It's not the case today. Nigeria is a giant country. Nigeria is much wealthy in terms of resources. I told you that there are so many countries in Europe that don't have the resources Nigeria has. But those countries are far richer than Nigeria. Those countries have a people that are far richer per person than Nigeria. Those countries have people that live a better standard of living than Nigerians. Why? Would you have the best soils in the world, the best environment in the world, many minerals? Nigeria has minerals, including oil. I told you that Nigeria is ranked among the 10 oil producers, if you dare to research it. And in Africa, it is ranked highly in terms of producing oil. But the question is, how has the oil in Nigeria helped Nigerians? When we saw that the country has about 250 millions in population, 250 million people in population, but half of that population lives below the poverty line. That is over 135 million people in Nigeria cannot earn a pound a day. And Nigeria is damn rich. But I'm telling you, the graduate unemployment in Nigeria is 23 million people, as we said today. As we speak today, the graduate unemployment, remember, I'm using the word graduate unemployment deliberately. It means there is unemployment among the non-graduates. But graduate unemployment is 23 million people. Now, which sort of country is this? To make matters worse, Nigeria is divided between the north and the south. The Muslims up in the north think they have a Sharia kind of state or country. In fact, I've been telling friends that if I happen to go to Nigeria, I will never want to go to the northern part of Nigeria because it is extremely Islamized. I should say, without warning, without fear of contradiction, that northern part of Nigeria has many terrorists. I should say that again, without fear of contradiction and any repercussions that come out of it. I sincerely think that the northern part of Nigeria harbors so many religious terrorists because they have done it. They have been killing Christians. They have been killing atheists. They have been killing humanists. People challenge their kind of thinking. They have forced a Sharia law to everyone in their kind of states. I've watched videos of Nigerian girls putting on hijab, veiling by force. I've watched videos of people in northern Nigeria being burnt alive in this day and age. People are burnt alive in northern Nigeria. Which type of country is this one? Samuel Deborah was one of them. Another teacher was burnt right inside the compound of a school by her own students because she touched the Quran. A teacher being burnt. I've seen people being slaughtered like goats, like animals, their necks being cut off in Nigeria, in northern Nigeria. So which country is this one? Why should someone be proud to be called a Nigerian in the first place? When you live in a confused country like Nigeria, and of course, I have my Nigerian friend here on the set. He's going to be coming here. Maybe he's going to defend his country, but I'm telling you, you have a failed state, and I've been always saying it. Nigeria, like Uganda, these are two completely failed states. The statistics may read otherwise. They may say, oh, our GNP is doing well, our GDP is doing well. But as an economist, I always ask you, how do you measure GDP? How do you measure GNP? Gross national product, gross domestic product. How do you get the monies of everyone in the country, add the money together, divide it by the population, and say everyone has this much? That's being stupid. I went to the School of Economics, but I think these are stupid economic tricks, stupid theories we use to measure wealth. There's no way you're going to get 10 Dangotes in a country like Nigeria has Dangote, the richest man in Africa. Dangote. You have Dangote in your country, and you're going to add Dangote with the money of a poor Nandip and others. Add the money together, divide it by the population, and then say all of them earn this much. That is being stupid. When you're going to measure people's wealth using that formula, the question is, how many people in the world, how many people in Africa have money in their pockets? Will be the question we're asking. If you are saying GNP and GDP measures statistics that are fair, I say you are wrong. They're giving us wrong impressions. But when you look at IMF and you look at World Bank, what are they giving you? They're giving you these cooked figures that don't reflect what is the right picture of the people in these countries. You have a country with too much wealth, but people are too much poor. I told you Nigeria has 135 million people at least that cannot earn a pound a day. Now, this is half the population. And the others simply are doing what we call disguised unemployment. Disguised unemployment. You are working, but you're not working. And this is cutting across Africa. Disguised unemployment. You are working hand to mouth, hand to mouth. The day you don't work, the day you don't eat. In fact, if you are locked in a house, like the way lockdown came, we saw guys in disguised unemployment. Guys working, but not working because they cannot survive for 3 months. Once they lock the economy, you cannot survive for 3 months. This is hitting much of Africa. Now, when you look at Nigeria, you cry because rich country with so many tribes, so many ethnic languages, a rich culture, but a country in despair, a country with highly corrupt people. I think Nigeria is far corrupt than what people think. Nigeria, I think, is far corrupt than what the movies actually portray. From the police officer, from the judiciary, almost every institution is doomed with corruption. And somehow they celebrate it because those who are corrupt are promoted and maintained. Corrupt politicians are voted back. The same plays out in Uganda, the same plays out in Sierra Leone, and the same plays out in Kenya and other countries. This is Africa for you. Now, I'm making a simple analysis before my colleagues come in, but I'm telling you that we must find solutions to this quagmire, to these problems that bedevil Africa. Why are small countries like Mauritius, like Botswana, doing so well in Africa in terms of personal wealth, in terms of happiness index? Look at Botswana, look at Mauritius. Go and look at the stats, you'll be surprised to find that people in Mauritius and Botswana are happy. They earn some money on a daily basis. The question would be, how do the governments in Mauritius and how does the government in Botswana make it that their people are employed? Basically, that their people have what to eat, that their people have a better security system in Botswana and Mauritius. I'm giving you 2 countries in Africa. And of course, I can bring in Tanzania, another equivalent of highly peaceful country and is developing very fast. That in 2020, June 2020, Tanzania became a country in middle income, thanks to John Pombe Magufuli. Strict policies, fighting corruption, stopping his ministers from going to Europe and US to attend useless conferences. When you go to Europe, what do you learn from Europe? When you go to US in these conferences, which are useless conferences, what do you learn? Okay, if you learn anything, what do you bring back home? You have been going to all these meetings, all these trips, and you earn per diem. But when you learn these hopeless things you learn from Europe and US, how do you implement them in Africa? Because they are useless much of the time. That's why we don't see anything that we implement in Africa. So Magufuli, what he did was to stop you from attending these useless workshops in Europe, these useless workshops in the US and all these other countries. Magufuli said, none of my ministers will leave Tanzania and go outside to attend useless meetings. Magufuli himself never traveled as a president, did not travel much. He refused going to these hopeless meetings and said, whoever wants to travel must use their own money. And Magufuli, because of the policies, made Tanzania jump from a poor country to a middle state country, to a middle income country. Magufuli fought imperialism, neo-imperialism. Magufuli fought capitalism without a human face. Magufuli went ahead and got a company, a British company, Acacia company, and stopped it from stealing from Nigeria, from Tanzanians, and made them pay over $100 million in fines, and made them give Tanzania 16% of their shares in the 3 mines that Acacia Mines owns in Tanzania. Which president in Africa has done that, apart from Magufuli? To go and say, look, you are stealing from us, you foreign companies. You have made our ministers sign dubious contracts with you. I'm canceling the contract and I'm taking you on. You are going to pay us a fine, and Tanzanians are going to have shares in your company. 16% in 3 mines. Put in all the sources, and everything must be shared by Tanzanians. That's how Magufuli managed to move his country, Tanzania, from a poor country to a middle income country. He stopped useless meetings abroad. He stopped his ministers spending money recklessly. He cut his cabinet from 30 ministers to 19. Go check the figures. Because now we want to talk solutions today. We want to go back into lamenting. Whoever is going to be talking today should be telling me solutions. I'm sharing with you what Magufuli did that saved Tanzania. In 5 years, Magufuli had changed the trajectory of Tanzania, stopped wasteful expenditure, got his ministers and sacked them, whoever was corrupt, stopped them from moving abroad for useless meetings, got Chinese and refused their $10 billion loan. He said, don't give us that loan, we don't want it. He refused the loans from Chinese. What have the Chinese done to Africa? As I speak, they are owning Entebbe International Airport. They are owning our airport in Uganda because our useless government of thieves connived with the Chinese, signed a contract without our knowledge as Ugandans, and now our airport is owned by Chinese. Much of our land is taken over by the Chinese. Why? Because our governments basically connive with the investors. This is what Magufuli refused. Magufuli refused a loan from China. He said, we don't need your loan. We can do without it. And yes, Tanzania could do without it. He stopped wasteful expenditure. He made Acacia Mines, a company in Tanzania, pay back the money they had stolen from Tanzania. Acacia Mines is a British company. They were stealing from Tanzanians. He stopped them from stealing and made them pay a fine and made them give up some of their shares to the government of Tanzania in 3 mines. Now, in 5 years, the man had made Tanzania move from a poor country to a middle income country. Now, why am I sharing this? Because today I'm tired of hearing from one side of lamentation. I want you guys to come with solutions for Africa. But this time, looking at Nigeria, this time looking at Sierra Leone. I've given you an example of 3 countries: Botswana, Mauritius, and Tanzania. The fourth country I can give you is Rwanda, a very small country. Rwanda is a no-nonsense country. Do you know that Rwanda has performance indicators for her public officials? Can I explain that? Performance indicators. In Rwanda, in Uganda, Mambo, we realize that in Uganda, no public office works if you don't corrupt them. I'll repeat it for you. In Uganda, no public office works without you giving them a bribe. I'm a Ugandan. I've been in Uganda. I've worked in Uganda. And yes, there were times when I had to part out with money because these guys cannot do anything for you. But go to Rwanda and do that nonsense. I've been to Rwanda several times. Go to Rwanda and try to bribe a public office and you see. Anyone is going to report you in Rwanda. Number 2, public officers report to office and are measured by their performance, and they are routinely sacked. Performance indicators are there for public officers in Rwanda. In Uganda, a public officer comes, puts their coat on the chair to say, I'm around, parks the car in the parking, and then goes out to a lodge or a hotel or to have fun. Then comes back at 4 when it is time to close, and that's it. The day's gone. Go and do that in Rwanda. In Rwanda, there's no way an investor can be cheated because investors directly report and corrupt officials are arrested. In Uganda, you never. You must corrupt the institutions, you must corrupt the regime, you must corrupt almost everyone to get any tender going through. Now, unless we see examples from countries doing it, and then we say, how are they doing it in Rwanda? How are they doing it in Botswana? How are they doing it in Mauritius? I can give you the example of Mauritius. I've been researching Mauritius. Very interesting country, very small country, small population, but Mauritius has a discipline in handling public money. Mauritius has a discipline in managing elections. Go and research it. Look at Botswana. So Africa is not all completely doomed. We have good examples we can look at without actually looking at Europe. So what are we doing wrong in Sierra Leone, and how do we fix it? Is my question today. What are we doing wrong in Nigeria, and how do we fix it? I'll be off and then allow you guys to continue. Let us start with Nandip. Nandip, how do we fix Nigeria? Give us solutions. How do we fix Nigeria?
Thank you, Comrade Katu, for this talk. I really appreciate, the summary and the breakdown of what you have said so far. My name is Nandip Andrew Bongfa. And I also welcome Nana and Mabu. You see, you have, I am really very, very sad, on what is happening in Nigeria. Yesterday, I listened very, very carefully when Mabu is talking about the corruption in Sierra Leone. It seems like almost the same pattern, the same thing happening in Sierra Leone, the same thing happening in Ghana, the same thing happening in Uganda, and in Nigeria is even worse. I must tell you. Comrade is saying that you have to part with some lalas according to Chinese money before a civil servant do something for you. Yes, in Nigeria it's even worse. You have a file or anything there, your file will be hidden. You have to give them money before that file will come out. You see, one of the US president once kind of described Nigeria. That is Donald Trump. He said Nigeria is the world poorest capital of the world. As Comrade KATO rightly said, the population of those who are poor in this country, they are just too much. You see, every year, graduate, as KATO said, we have millions of graduates unemployed. And then you can see that a professor read book with PhD, master degree, driving taxis, doing manual job, go to the site and carry concrete on his head. Now, do you know what is happening here in this country? There's when these graduates sat down and reasoned, they have turned out to be what? Kidnappers. The issue of kidnapping, especially in the nation capital, Abuja, is so rampage that any cab that is taxi you enter, there must be a kidnapper. So people are now afraid, and in daily basis, people are kidnapped. People are taken away from their family. They will come to your house when your door is locked. They will bring a hammer, a pickaxe. They will remove your door and keep it aside. Remove your window, keep it aside. If they cannot be removed, they will chisel the wall of your building, get inside, take you out, and your family will pay huge amount of money ransom for you to be free. Where is the money in the first place? Just yesterday, a PDP chairman was kidnapped. I wish they should be kidnapping those rich politicians, not the poor people like us. But they don't mind. They knows that you don't have anything, or they will still kidnap you. They will make your poor family suffer, looking for money, begging people so that they can be able to pay ransom for you to be freed. And if they cannot be able to, get anything to give them, they'll kill you. This is worse in Nigeria. It's better Uganda that you guys, you are not be, there is no issue of kidnapping or what you call terrorism, or Sierra Leone, there is no issue of kidnapping or terrorism, or Ghana, there's no issue of, but in Nigeria is worse. Everybody's live with fear. Anytime I go out for, maybe I go out for an errand, my wife will be afraid that maybe the taxi that I enter, maybe they will take me away. She doesn't want me to leave the farm, but I have to go out, to go for an errand for the farm. I cannot be staying at the farm alone. As the person that manage the farm, I have to go and see customers, make contacts with other people. For that, you have to be careful. How will you know that this man, he can take you away, or he can kidnap you? You will not know. You will see 4 people in a vehicle. All of them, they are gang of one person. They are a group of a gang. You will enter and then they will take you away for unknown destination. Unknown. They will start calling your family, calling everybody. It's so devastating. It's so bad in Nigeria, because our population make us who we are. Because no work, people just turn out so that they can be able to do anything to fit. There's this program that is going on, that they kidnap a lady, and the person that did that job is even have a family, and the family have dry cleaner that go and wash his clothes and bring, and they call him in the process of kidnapping a lady. And when they free that lady, she's the one that's giving this ordeal. I say, what does that mean? That people that kidnap, they stay in the comfortable places, but their job is to steal people, demand for ransom, and if you don't give it, you are killed. Now, in my state, the Plateau State, that is the Middle Belt, as KATO rightly said, there's terrible thing going on with this Fulani jihadis. Yes, Fulani jihadis. They started in 1914 with their forefather called Usman Danfodio. You Google it about Usman Danfodio. He's the first person that started jihad in Nigeria from the Hausas that they have never been Muslim, they don't know anything about Islam before. They are, traditionalists. He came and introduced jihad and started collecting land from this person is a Fulani person. Started collecting land from people when they come to battle and they kind of capture your villages. All of you will turn to Muslims or Islam, or you'll be killed. That's how it is now in Plateau State. That is Middle Belt. They have attacked Bokos, a local government. They have attacked Mangu just day before yesterday. About 300 people have been killed from Fulani, and this turned into what? A religious war between the Muslim and the Christians. All this is about land grabbing, because up there in the north, it's savannah, arid land. There's no much activities going on there because of their cattle, and they have already, finished all the what do you call it? The trees that are and the plants that are there. So they are coming down to the middle belt and to the south. So it's all about land grabbing and kind of Islamize the middle belt, and later on they will go to the southern part of Nigeria. And we have to stand. How are we going to do it? Because KATO asks us a very serious question now. How will Africa free from this corrupt people? These jihadists, they are being supported by the politicians. They are being supported because how a person, a header, have an AK-47, a brand new AK? Because how many cows are you going to sell before you can be able to acquire AK-47? But you see them come in their hundreds. Like you have 100 bike with three people on top of the bike, 3 person in one bike with 100 bikes. You think that is B that is going, but they are going to attack communities. In a night, they will ransack like 30 communities. Now, look at it. The military, the locals, they will tell them that they are attacking so community, but you cannot see any single police, army, air force, civil defense, or any security agent. You will never see them until they finish all their operation. The next day, you will see many people killed, house burnt, and then you put a state of emergency in that community, in that local government. The next 2 or 3 days or 1 week, you'll give gap. Then they'll attack another community, another local government. What is going on in our states? What is going on in Nigeria? People are so corrupt that in the sense that they support evil, they support bad things. And these people don't mind you. They are Muslims and they pray to Allah. They pray to God 5 times in a day. To do what? To give them more strength to fight the infidel, the unbeliever like me, to take the land that belongs to my ancestors and my grandparents. This is bad. This is completely bad. The focus in Nigeria, it cannot be exhausted in a day, because the rot that is happening in our country, Nigeria, is unquantifiable. The level of education is just going down the drain. A graduate, I talked to you about my new staff yesterday, that it cannot be able to spell anything. Bedsheet, 0, cannot spell it. Curtain, 0, it cannot spell it. Boot, torchlight, and you graduate from a college. Tell me, what are we doing? The corruption, as KATO is saying, and Mabu is saying yesterday, it is not even half of what is happening here in Nigeria. Education, nothing. Now people don't even go to farm. That's why the price of food is very expensive. Go to the farm, you'll be kidnapped, you'll be carried away. Go to the farm, you'll be killed. People don't work. Everybody's running away from the villages and coming to the city. What are you coming to do in the city when you don't have work to do? And you stay in your village, you'll be killed. So the situation in this country, Nigeria, is I don't know. It needs a serious state of emergency. The president have to come out and do something. If not so, there's going to be what? A war. There's going to be a war between these two powerful faiths, these two powerful religion in this country. The Muslim and the Christian, they are going to massacre each other, including us that we don't
I'll
even believe in
stop
them.
you there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for
Thank
those
you.
thoughts. Let us hear from Sierra Leone, Mambo.
Yes, thank you very much, Senior Comrade KATO. I'm talking about Sierra Leone. I am not actually trying to say things that are like somebody will say, you're always saying bad things about Sierra Leone. I'm just being honest with myself. I'm just being honest with the country where I was born. I'm just being honest about the truth. Because a lot of people are out there, even journalists from Sierra Leone. You can imagine international journalists from Sierra Leone, they will not say the truth because they don't want to portray the actual image of the country out there. They do not want people to know what is happening. They just want to beautify the thing. They just want to beautify everything as if everything is going on well. But if you are very honest with yourself, if you are being honest with the country itself, I think you should say the truth. And when you say the truth, people will know the actual fact, what is actually happening in the country. So, Sierra Leone, yes, it's a beautiful country, and it is supposed to be a sugar land, but it is not, because upon everything that we have as a nation, we are still the poorest. People are still dying with hunger. People are still dying out of hunger because they could not afford what to eat. Like, whenever I'm saying this, I always measure that Sierra Leone has everything that we are supposed to have as a country. We have everything that you can think of that a country should have, that country will be more developed. Even countries that do not have what we have, they are more developed than us. Countries like what do Dubai have? They have a United Arab Emirates. They do not have anything. It's a desert land. But we have gold, diamond, bauxite, rutile, everything you can think of. A good soil. But yet, we are still poor. Yet, people are dying of hunger. So, what is the solution to this thing? We should change our leadership. We should change as individuals living in the country. Even the layman need to change his mentality. We need to change our way of thinking. That will only help us. We need to change the whole structure, the whole leadership. Because the so-called anti-corruption commission is more corrupt than even the other institutions. The so-called audit, they are not auditing anything. Nothing is happening. The last time I said it here, you will see somebody have his own private car. That car he will be driving that car for over 15 years or 10 years. But when they hand over a government vehicle to that person, the government vehicle will only last for 6 months. And then that vehicle will be parked because it is government. Why should we have that mentality? If I could take care of my own private car because I bought it with my money, why not the one that government has bought and gave it to me? Why not the one from government? Why not should I take care of that one? But they will just take care, this is government vehicle. And then even when they are giving money to maintenance this vehicle, they don't do it. They always cut it from above. So the corruption is from the up to the down to the lowest. Corruption is everywhere in the system. Every system is corrupt. Every system, from the police, the military, the civil servant, everybody, politicians, everybody is corrupt. Everybody is corrupt. We do not actually have too much of kidnapping, but what is equivalent to kidnapping? Because if I'm supposed to have like 10,000 and then you give me 1,000 out of the 10,000. So what is that? That is not even that. I don't even know how to say it. You were saying the airport in the Entebbe airport has been taken by the Chinese. Same to Sierra Leone. Same to Sierra Leone. Our airport is being owned by Suma Company, a Turkish company. Just because they built a terminal. Now, for the next 25 years, Sierra Leoneans do not have saying over our airport. And that is the only airport we have, the Lunge International Airport. It is being taken by, and let me tell you, the whole West Africa, we are the most expensive, we have the most expensive airport in the whole of West Africa. Now, what do Sierra Leoneans do? Instead of going direct to Sierra Leone, they go through Guinea, which is our neighboring country. They land in Guinea, take a car, and drive to Sierra Leone. And then they will save about $600. Or they land in Liberia and then take a car, drive to Sierra Leone. People are no more using the Lunge International Airport because it is very, very much expensive. Very, very much expensive in the whole of West Africa. So if I want to go to Sierra Leone, I'll just go to Liberia. I'll take a flight to Liberia. When I go to Liberia, then I will take a car to Sierra Leone, which will save me about $600. So why should we do that to ourselves? Why should we sell the only airport that we have? Even our natural harbor that we have. Sierra Leone is blessed. Our harbor is natural. But it is being sold out. Everything is being commercialized. Everything is being sold out to foreigners. They are doing their business and then giving percentage to the government, to the useless government that we have. They give percentage to them. And because they are satisfied, they are okay. They do not even care what is the ordinary person going through. Yesterday, I was saying that our so-called stupid clerk of parliament employed his wife. Employed the wife for good 10 months. The wife was receiving $1,500. And she never stepped a foot in the office. How corrupt is that? And now the case is just like that. The so-called anti-useless corruption commission is not saying anything about it. But if a teacher, the last time about a year ago or so, they caught some teachers that they said exam malpractice. They disgraced them publicly. So why not the politicians also who are stealing government money, who are stealing the money that are being given to them to do work in their communities? If they let them also be disgraced publicly, but they don't do it. If the clerk of parliament could do that and then go scot-free, who am I not to do it? I also do it because that's an example. So they should have set an example on the clerk of parliament. What he did was corruption to the highest degree. So they should have set a bright. In fact, he should not be even stepping his feet again to the parliament. But yet, no, nothing is going on, and people are not even talking about it. Our so-called reporter, the BBC reporter, we have Umar Fofana, he's not even saying anything about it because his wife is working for the government. So if the wife is working, this is how they used to silence people who talk. Like, since Umar Fofana is a reporter for BBC, they employ the wife. So if there's any corruption in the system, the wife will be able to manipulate on Umar Fofana not to say it. This is why a lot of things that are happening in that country, people are not knowing. People do not even have any clue about it. He is the same person who also reports for Al Jazeera. So you will not hear those news from BBC or Al Jazeera. You don't hear them because the wife is in the system. This is how they used to manipulate people. This is how they use. So us as Sierra Leoneans, we need to change our mindset. We need to change our thinking. We need to change a lot of these useless policies. We need to change a lot of these useless laws. That is the only way we can move forward. Besides, we cannot move forward. Sierra Leone is rich with every mineral you can think of, but yet we are poor. We are poor. 78% of graduates in that country are unemployed. They are not working. So why? So People will be even thinking, why would I even go to school? I want to go to school maybe to read and write. It's not for me to get a job in my country. Or maybe when I'm okay to read and write, maybe let me move out of the country. But that country is so useless to the extent that our minerals are not even, everything is just useless to us. That is why most of us who talk, they drive us out of the country. They want us out of the country because if we are there, we'll see what they are doing and then we'll talk about it openly. We'll condemn it openly. So they threaten us, they drive us out of the country. If you do not leave the country, you will die. So those who are in the country will not talk anything. They will not say anything because if you say it, if you go to sleep tomorrow, they will not see you again. You will disappear. This is what is happening in the country. What I'm saying now here at Humanist TV, if I was in Sierra Leone and said these words, tomorrow morning, KATO, if you call my line, you will not get me. If you call my line, my number will be off forever. Because this night, I'll be ready either to run away to Guinea or Liberia, or maybe they will never see my corpse. Even my corpse will disappear. So what type of a country is that? And I hear people say Sierra Leone is peaceful. Sierra Leone is peaceful. Which type of peaceful? What is peaceful about these countries? Even the companies that are coming, they will not, if you are in this town and then they are working in this town, they will not employ you. They will rather prefer they bring foreigners, people outside to come and work in your country, to come and mine your own land, to come and take your minerals and take it home. So you are left, they are poor. Your villages, they will tell you, oh, today we took 50 carat diamond. Today we took 15 carat, 20 carat. But if you go to that town where they took 20 carat diamond, people are living there, they will not even be able to feed themselves. People do not, they cannot feed themselves. A town which produces 50 carat diamond, there are people there who slept with hunger. They slept 2-3 days. They cannot provide for themselves. Even the corporate social responsibilities are not being done. Nothing. No road, no electricity, no food. So people are dying out of hunger. So solution, we need to change our leadership. The leadership, the so-called government, everything is just useless. Even from us as individuals down to the government. So everything is just up and down. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mambu Emmanuel from Sierra Leone. That analysis was very touching, very, very touching, and it is indicative of what is happening in much of Africa. But it is not surprising to me, as a person from Africa, hearing someone in Sierra Leone talking about things that happen in Sierra Leone, but are a replica of what is happening in Uganda. Tomorrow, when I'm talking about Uganda, you will see that actually Uganda is not so different from Nigeria, Ghana, and Sierra Leone. In fact, you may be surprised that we may be having the trophy for bad governance, for corruption, and misrule. Uganda may be having that trophy. Now, having said that, let us listen to the Ghanaian Nana Akufo, what he has to say as we summarize. We have 12 minutes. We are going to use them productively. Ghana will take 5 minutes out of the remaining 12 minutes.
Thank you, Comrade KATO. Thank you, Comrade Nandip, and Comrade Mambu. I'm listening to these stories over and over again. Makes the African seems as if he's a less of a human being, and we are here to prove that no, we are not. We are all right thinking Homo sapiens who have the right to sleep a better place, the right to eat, the right to live a dignified life, and all other human rights we think we can also enjoy. But upon reflecting on what my senior comrade from Nigeria is saying, it seems we have thrown our hands in the air. And I will always tell people this: the problem doesn't lie with the politician, it lies with the African youth, because we've all realized the problem are the politicians. We've all realized it is not as if we don't know. Don't 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 let us be like we are ignorant of what is happening. Because in Nigeria, I believe we have the military, we have the security forces, and how can you allow people ride motorcycles from one place to another to kill other human beings? Or how can you allow students to kill their own teacher because maybe she committed blasphemy or she touched the Quran? How can you allow that? But we all look on. We all look on for these atrocities to happen, which means my problem is the modern day African youth. We need to stand up. If we don't, our oppressors. I was really happy when the Nigerian youth stood up for the NSAS, and when they came together, and the whole world also heard them. You saw the brutalities your own government committed. This is who they are, and we must let them act like that. We can't be in our rooms fearing their guns or fearing their tongues or fearing. No, then either way, they will be also, excuse my language, fucking our children, because they are fucking us, and it will be a generational cycle. So what I believe as my senior comrade KATO was saying, the solutions, we are rather live in the 21st century where information is abundant. Information is everywhere, it's at our fingertips. So we don't have any excuse again. Oh, my internet service, I don't know if we don't have any excuse again. But hello, is everything all right?
I can hear you.
I should go
Continue.
back. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, if you are informed, you become a.
Yes, Nana there from Ghana is giving his views, and quite incisive, quite spot on. He says the problem is with young people, not the politicians. In fact, Ghana, Nigeria, Nana from Ghana is giving me something to think about. And really, he has a poignant and pregnant point. Nana says the problem is not the politicians. The problem is the youth. The question I'm asking all of you as we wind up: who mentors the youth? Because the youth must be learning from someone. The youth are children of yesterday. In my country and in Africa, by general standards in the world, a youthful person is that person below 30 years. The question is, who mentors them? Number one, their parents. Number two, their communities where they stay. Number three, their religious institutions, churches, mosques, shrines. Number four, their cultural institutions. Number five, their schools. Mentors them. The question is, where does the youth learn to be corrupt? Number 6 or 7, the politicians. So the youth are learning from their parents. Because the youth, I've seen it in Africa, that the youth always side with the powerful. It's very disturbing. At least in my country, it is very disturbing. Because me, I was a radical. There's no day I joined Museveni's government. It's on record. There's no day I joined Museveni's government in Uganda. I was always opposed to Museveni's government. When I was a student in secondary, I was opposed to him. And my first voting in 1996 was to get him out in 1996. Those are many years, 28 years ago. I was voting the man out 28 years ago. You see? But again, even when I went to university, I was opposing the man. Even when I went outside the university, I joined a political party. In fact, I formed a political party with guys. All my intention was to get rid of Museveni and his bad regime. So not all the youth are damned, but the majority of the youth in Africa basically side with the victor, side with the powerful. So I agree with Nana, has the point. The youth are the problem. But I ask him, who mentors the youth? As we conclude, Nigeria. Nandip, give us your conclusion.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Comrade KATO. Yes, I agree with you, and also agree with Nana also about the youth. You see, let me just, in conclusion, the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, his nephew, they call him Sabiu, also known as Tunde. This guy is 39 years old in this 2024. He was born in 1985. You see, he's a special assistant to the former president and is the nephew of the president. Do you know that this Sabiu called Tunde stole, that is looted from the NNPC, that is from the fuel, billions of naira. In fact, his 6 years old son, his account were discovered 600 million US dollars. 6 years old sons. And this guy is a youth, like the way Nana rightly said, that we youth, we are the cause of this problem in Africa. Yes. So you see, if Sabiu, known as Tunde, forged the signature of the president, former president Muhammadu Buhari, his uncle, and kind of we joined together with a former minister of justice and attorney general of the federation, Malami, and steal money, because the former president is the minister of petroleum also, and steal money from the oil company. Yes, let me conclude. So to tell you that youth also are also not left out, they are also corrupt. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And this conversation continues tomorrow. Remember?
Yes.
The conversation continues tomorrow. Nana, Mambo, Leone, conclude and you leave this platform.
Yes, I think the youth, we, like I was saying, it's not, we are always focused on the government, the politicians, but we ourselves are also the issues in our countries, because we are seeing these things happening and people are not saying anything about it because we are afraid. So I think it's hard time. We actually need to change that idea, that mentality. I think it's hard time. We need to talk about it, and I think we will continue to talk about it until they realize that we have actually come to the conclusion that we will not accept it anymore, and we ourselves need to change as youth from that idea, that content that, okay, we are okay, let them do what they are doing. They are politicians. I'm okay. What will I say? Even if I say something, they will not. If you say something, something will happen. We'll continue to talk about it until we see there is total change. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to say this as I conclude this show. We are continuing this conversation tomorrow with Uganda and Kenya. We are looking at the same problems Africa is facing. Trust me, you'll be surprised to hear what's happening in Kenya. You'll be surprised to hear what's happening in Uganda. This conversation continues. But I want to challenge Nana. I want to challenge Mambo in Sierra Leone. Talk about leadership, change leadership. I tell you, there is a saying in my vernacular that actually you can get old wine and put it in new bottles and there is no change. Get old wine, put it in new bottles, there's no change. When you get all these rotten tomatoes, you have nurtured and nurtured in a corrupt environment, from schools with still exams. Some of them are human schools in Uganda, where exams actually are stolen, malpractices are done in human schools, for example, where children are taught how to rig exams, steal exams, rig elections. Now, when you are modeling children to be corrupt, what do you expect? If parents are giving their children monies to go and campaign and bribe the voters, children campaigning, bribing voters, that is corruption. Now, it is us having the problem.
Hello, Nana, can you talk?
Oh, then we have to conclude this program for our comrade. My conclusion is, we the youth, we the African youth must know that we are here and we are the embodiment of our ancestors. Our ancestors were fearless, they were brave, and they did their best. And they have passed their genes, their informations to us to continue that battle. And we cannot be like just some peeping Tom who cannot do anything in his or her environment. So I will wish all Africans know that the life of the individual African is important than anything else, than religion, than politics, than any divisional too. So if we are able to come together and realize, no, it is up to us. We don't have to rely on Allah or God or Yahweh. We don't have to rely on the politicians, but we must be an example of good politicians. If we have this mentality, we'll be able to take charge of our environment, of our people, of everything, and our the next generation will also grow up thanking us and also building our statues, also like how we built our forefathers' statues. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. This is where we end our show, focus on Nigeria and Sierra Leone.
I want to thank you, everyone.
See you tomorrow. The name is Kwame Apididaka. Subscribe to Humanist TV Africa. Goodbye.
Thank you so much.